Well, fellas, it is day 3 of celebrating Kingdom Rush's 15th birthday, and you know what that means. That means that today we're gonna be playing the ever so beloved Kingdom Rush Origins and 100%ing it. If you're new to this series, then hello, my name is Exorbila, and Kingdom Rush is the first ever game that I've played in my entire life. Or at least it's the first single player game that I consciously fully remember playing by myself. And let me tell you fellas, ever since I played that first Kingdom Rush game all by myself as a wee lad, it was love at first sight. I immediately fell in love with the series, and even though I didn't play any of the later games until I was much older, I played the hell out of the first Kingdom Rush game. And because of my love for the franchise, I decided to do something special for its 15th birthday. And that something special is this very series that you're watching right now. The basic premise of the series is that when Kingdom Rush's 15th birthday comes around in late July, I will be posting 5 different videos every single day over the span of 5 days. And in each one of the 5 videos, I will be 100% completing one of the 5 Kingdom Rush games that are out at the time of recording this video. Maybe by the time that these videos are already finished, Kingdom Rush Genesis will come out, but I will not be including it as a part of this series simply because it is not yet available at the time of recording this video, so I cannot play it because it's just simply not available to the public. But if it does come out and you guys want to see more Kingdom Rush content, then let me know in the comments and I'll be 100% completing Kingdom Rush Genesis as well. Of course, when I say that I'm 100% completing all these Kingdom Rush games, what I mean is that I will be completing every single level that every single game has to offer. I'll be completing every single Iron Challenge, every single Heroic Challenge, and I will be getting every single achievement that all of these games have to offer. But with all that yapping, introduction, and exposition aside, today is day 3 of celebrating 15 years since the original Kingdom Rush game came out. And that, of course, means that we're going to be playing the 3rd game in the series for the 3rd day of the celebration. And that game is none other than Kingdom Rush Origins, a fan-favorite game. So let's hop right in and figure out why exactly it's a fan-favorite Kingdom Rush game. And before hopping in, we already have a problem. Yep. Before even loading up level 1 of the game, we already have a problem. And that problem is that unlike the previous 2 games, this game actually has a secret 4th difficulty called Impossible Mode. In order to unlock this so-called Impossible Mode, you'll already have to complete the main campaign 1 time in any difficulty. And well, I was not doing all that shit, let me tell you. So instead of doing all that, I went into the game's files and I did a little bit of let's just say magic, and I managed to cheat my way into unlocking the Impossible Mode right off the start of the game. So yeah, even though Impossible Mode is still grayed out because we haven't unlocked it inside of the game itself, the game still does say that we are playing in Impossible Mode. So yeah, trust me, we're you know, it counts, okay? It's an Impossible Mode, all right? But as soon as I activated Impossible Mode, I very quickly found out why it's called the Impossible Mode, because Level 1 was already putting belt to ass on me, okay? It's the tutorial level of the game. Level 1, the most basic level that just meant to teach you the basics of the game, and I already managed to lose to it a couple of times. It's all fine though, because after getting my very first hero, Eridan the Archer, and getting the hang of how all the new towers in this game work, I actually did manage to beat level 1, although I gotta say, it was still a little bit embarrassing that I lost to it the first few times that I played. But the embarrassment doesn't end there, because I also lost a few times in the Iron and Heroic Challenge of level 1. But after finally, for real this time, locking in, I managed to beat both the Iron and Heroic challenges of level 1 and the regular version of level 1 itself. And yeah, I actually managed to accomplish something here. Level 2, however, was much easier, thankfully. And I was actually pretty surprised about that, because this level is a level that introduces these enemies called Gnawers, which are pretty freaking tanky, honestly, especially for enemies that appear in level 2 of the game. Their whole thing, though, is that they are pretty tanky. Later on in the game, their HP seems very puny, but for this early on in the game, they are pretty tanky, with their 200 plus HP and their low armor. On top of their health, armor, and whatnot, they also have a very interesting gimmick, which is that if they're in a group of more than 3 Gnawers, they will automatically buff each other and become even stronger, and their stats will get a general increase. But even with all that, the base level was pretty easy, especially since we unlocked level 2 towers, which means that we can finally start upgrading our towers once we place them down, so that they can do even more damage and be even more cool and awesome. But yeah, it was overall a pretty easy level, and the Iron and Heroic challenges were really easy too, because after completing the base mode of level 2, we unlocked a new hero called Erevan. And Erevan is quite possibly the greatest second hero in the entire Kingdom Hearts series. And I would even dare to say that he's one of the best heroes in the whole entire Kingdom Hearts series. Like, just in general, forget first heroes, forget second heroes, forget third heroes, just in general, I think Erevan is probably like a top 15 hero for me, maybe even top 10. And that is saying quite a lot, since there are dozens and dozens and dozens of heroes in this whole entire series. And the reason why Erevan is so good is because he just has an answer for everything. Like, literally any problem you can imagine, he has an answer for. You need splash damage, he has an ability that does huge splash damage. You need single target damage, well, his main attack already does single target damage. You need him to tank a little bit, well, he has a rock shield that he can activate periodically to gain more health and more defense. You want him to slow down and stall enemies, well, he has an ice beam that's perfect for exactly that. With the Ice Beam ability that he activates periodically, he can completely freeze enemies and stop them dead in their tracks. And on top of all of this, his hero ability is quite possibly the best panic button in this whole entire game. You activate it and you sit back and watch the little elemental tornado that he summons decimate absolutely everything in its path. But yeah, it's safe to say that with his powers, we managed to absolutely smoke level 2. It was absolutely no problem, even on this secret impossible difficulty. Level 3 was much of the same. It was still a pretty easy level. Erevan still soloed absolutely everything, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't get a little tiny bit dicey. And the reason that it got dicey is because of these little fucking hyena enemies that were coming down the path. The hyenas are a very special type of enemy. Not only are they fast, but they cannot be blocked, because if you try to put a unit in front of them so that the unit can actually block the hyenas, they will just get even faster and run past your units and just get through the exit, and it's not going to be a good day for you, okay? It's not going to be a good day for you. That's all I'm going to say. But if you're careful of the hyenas and you manage to take them out pretty quickly, then yeah, this level is pretty easy. The only other gimmick that it really has is that sometimes the enemies that spawn on that top lane will go through this little waterfall here, and then they will come out of the bottom waterfall, and they will like skip a little bit of their intended track. But that's really the only gimmick, and it never really posed a threat to me, so it was low-key all chill. And in this level, we finally started getting some achievements by catching the little things that are flowing down this river over here on the top of your screen. Or, well, I guess it's more towards the middle, but it's a little bit towards the top. Well, you know what I'm saying, okay? You know what I'm saying. There's a stream on your screen right now, and shit is flowing down it, and we gotta catch the shit, and if we catch enough shit, we got a couple of achievements. Level 4 introduced Ettins and these little mage enemies down here, which seem like a pretty big problem, especially the Ettins, since they're really tanky, let me tell you. They have a crap ton of HP, and it's pretty insane to be introducing them this early into the game. But thankfully, to help us, we unlock a brand new maxed out tower. In fact, it's the first max level tower that we unlock, and that tower is the Archer Tower. And with its explosive capabilities and its ability to put enemies to sleep for a short period of time, this level was really no challenge for us. I mean, the explosive arrows and just the raw DPS of the archers managed to take care of the Ettins pretty well. And the magic guys had a little bit of magic resistance, but, well, the archers deal physical damage, so that didn't really matter. On this level, we also got the achievement for making this guy swing down the tree and smack his face on the wall, and that was pretty epic. And after getting that achievement, we also did the heroic and iron challenges, and we beat them like first try, and they weren't that hard, so yeah, I mean, let's just move on, okay? Now, while the first 4 levels of the game were easy, the 5th level of the game did not have that mercy on us at all. The only easy thing about level 5 was getting the achievement on it, where you had to, like, shear these bushes and, like, find the matching characters you can shear them into, and once you did that, you would get an achievement. But outside of that, nothing about this level was fucking easy, okay? I mean, the main stage of the level, I suppose, was a little bit easy. It wasn't super bad, I guess. But the Iron and Heroic challenges were... They were pretty nightmarish, okay? They were not great. They were absolutely not great. The thing about the Iron and Heroic challenges is that they both kind of require everything from you, right? They require you to have everything. They require you to have splash damage, because they're going to be spamming a shit ton of gnolls and reavers and weak little enemies at you, so they need you to have a lot of splash damage. Then they need you to have a ton of single target damage for these new little elf creatures that spawn on the level, and for all the other tanky enemies that appear. Then they need you to have a lot of physical damage, because there's a couple of mages that spawn on the level, and they just need you to have everything. They just need you to have absolutely freaking everything, man. This level needs everything from you. It needs single target damage, it needs splash damage, it needs magic damage for the tanks, it needs physical damage for the magic enemies, and it's just really hectic, man. It's just really hectic. And through all of this, you're relatively money starved, so you don't even have enough resources to build everything that this level wants from you. So needless to say, it took a fucking lot of trial and error to finally beat this level. But eventually, through enough tomfoolery and just tomfoolery. It was really just tomfoolery. Through enough tomfoolery and enough trial and error, I suppose, we managed to beat the level. I honestly, to this day, have no fucking idea how we managed to beat it. I think it took me like probably half an hour at least to an hour to beat both the Iron and Heroic challenges. But we somehow did it. So yeah, feeling real proud of myself there. I suppose we just eventually managed to strike that perfect mix of every single tower that the game wanted from us, and that managed to push us over the edge and let us beat this level. But with that being said, fellas, yeah, we're just gonna move on past that whole mess, okay? We're just gonna move past that freaking level. The next level, though, was a boss level, and oh my goodness, this level was an absolute grand culmination of every single enemy that we've been encountering through this whole level. Pretty much every single enemy, doesn't matter if you struggled with them, if you didn't struggle with them, if you just kind of found a medium or whatever the hell, every single enemy that you've encountered up until this point gets spammed the fuck off in this level. There's a mountain of all the gnolls from level 1, there's a mountain of gnolls, there's a mountain of hyenas, there's a mountain of ettins, there's a mountain of elf little fucking guys, whatever their name is. There's a mountain of the mage enemies. There's just a mountain of absolutely everything in this level, and it's really, really, really hectic. Thankfully, though, the game does have some mercy on us, and it gives us a couple of tools to make this level just a little bit easier. The first tools are these little griffin guys who come in during the level, and you can click on them to make them like spit fire down the track, and they do a good chunk of damage. They're pretty good. But the second tool that the game gives us, which is the one that really counts, is the Wild Magus. It's the first max tier mage tower that we unlock in this game. And its whole thing is that it shoots really, really, really fast. And it doesn't do a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but it makes up for that by shooting incredibly fast. I think it shoots the fastest out of any tower in this whole entire game. And on top of that, it has the ability to insta-kill pretty much any enemy outside of bosses, with the only drawback of the ability being that it has to like do a little reload and like, you know, continue using its normal fast attack for like 20 seconds before it can pull off another insta-kill again. But its insta-kill is still really, really, really good, and it's an absolute godsend in this level where the game just spams the crap out of really tanky enemies at you. And on top of all this, actually, this insta-kill ability is even better than it already is, because when the tower insta-kills an enemy, the enemy explodes and deals a bunch of damage in a little radius around it. And this radius gets bigger the bigger the enemy is. So for example, a really huge enemy like Ettin is gonna explode in a massive explosion, while a small enemy like a gnoll, for example, is only gonna explode in a small little boom. My only mistake while playing this level is that the first time I played it, I completely ignored the Wild Magus towers and pretty much just spammed the maxed out Archer towers that we unlocked a couple of levels ago. And the reason that was such a mistake is because even though it killed absolutely everything in the level, the boss came out. And the boss had physical armor. And the archers, outside of their explosion ability that they fire off every so often, only do physical damage. So you can probably see where this is going. The final boss of the level, the big bad hyena, pretty much just stomped through our whole entire defense system, and it just ignored all the archers. And by the time that I was able to sell them and place down a couple of mages, it was already over. And the hyena just ran through, and it was just a cooked situation. But thankfully, on my second attempt, I wisened up, I spammed a bunch of mages down, I put a lot of mages on the track where the final boss was coming out of, and with that, we managed to beat the level pretty easily, and also insta-kill all those items that the game was spamming at us. And with the badge for beating that boss under our belt, we went on to beat the Iron and Heroic challenges as well, which were pretty easy actually on this level. Which is kind of crazy actually, because now that I think about it, the Iron and Heroic challenges, not only in this game, but in this whole Kingdom Hearts series, are quite a toss-up, honestly, because sometimes they can be the hardest fucking challenge that you will ever experience in your entire career as a gamer. And then sometimes, you just have nothing to say about them. You just beat them like in 1 or 2 tries and then just move on. And that's pretty much how these Iron and Heroic challenges went, so yeah, I guess we are moving on in this case. The very next level of the game introduces us to a brand new biome. And that biome is this magical, mystical looking fucking forest, I guess. I don't know, it has a lot of trees. I'm not sure if it exactly classifies as a forest, but I'm gonna call it a forest. Anyways, the theme of this biome is magic and elves, and well, magic and elves is exactly what we get on the very first level as soon as we enter this little biome right here. The game throws a bunch of those little elf guys from the previous level right into our faces right off the bat. And to accompany them, there are a bunch of these little cutthroat enemies, which just do even more damage, except they don't have a ranged attack like the elves do. They just do a bunch of melee damage, and they make it doubly sure that all your units are dead if the elves didn't already kill all of them. And accompanying those guys are a bunch of these little spider enemies and a bunch of these slightly bigger spider enemies. And the spiders are basically just really fast, really annoying fodder enemies. They just run down your track and exit as soon as they can. And like I said, you can't exactly block them either, because if you try to place down any units, then all the previously mentioned enemies will just kill your units and the spiders will continue running through. Needless to say, this level was impossible. Yep, it was actually, truly impossible. This game mode, this secret impossible game mode that I've been yapping about since the start of the game, it actually lived up to the hype. And this level was truly impossible. Or was it? You guys remember how in the previous 6 levels of the game, I was always saying some shit like, and then we beat the level, and then we easily steamrolled through the Iron and Heroic challenges, and then we went on the next level, and then we beat that level, and then we beat its Iron and Heroic challenges. Well, I was capping. The point of the story is that I was capping. I was lying out of my ass. I did not beat those Iron and Heroic challenges. Instead, I was only beating the regular mode of each level, trying to see how far I could make it. And if you have played Kingdom Rush before, you would know exactly where this is going. But if you haven't played Kingdom Rush before, in every single Kingdom Rush game, there's this little tech tree right here. And basically, to oversimplify it, the way that it works is that every time you beat a level, you can get between 1 and 3 stars, depending on how many lives you had by the time that the level ended. And then, when you beat that level and collect those stars, you can use those stars in order to upgrade this skill tree and make your towers and units and your lightning storm and your abilities more powerful, basically. The maximum amount of stars you can get per level, at least in the original trilogy, is 5. You can get 3 from just beating the regular level and having more than 18 lives when you complete it. And you can also get 2 extra stars by beating the Iron and Heroic challenges as well. And well, since I just told you that I haven't actually beaten the Iron and Heroic challenges before this point in the game, and I was just a fraud, and I was a LARPing, and I was capping my ass off, well, that's exactly what I went ahead and did. I went ahead and beat most, not all, but most of those Iron and Heroic challenges that I mentioned in the previous levels, and I got my stars, and I upgraded my skill tree, and I got more powerful units, and I got my little fucking thunderstorm ability nearly maxed out, and with that, we actually did manage to beat the first level of the new biome that we found ourselves in. It was still pretty difficult, and the new tower that was introduced in this level didn't help at all, but we managed to beat it, and that's all that matters, so we're moving on. The next level of the main campaign has 3, or I guess technically 4 achievements tied to it, depending on how you count them, but either way, that's a pretty massive number of achievements. These 3 spots are where the achievements that are specifically tied to this level and can only be obtained on this level are hiding. You just click these spots and a bunch of little different random things happen, like for example if you click on the little freaking house, gingerbread house, a little witch will pop out, and then you gotta make her dance, and she fucking explodes or something, and you get an achievement for that. Then if you click on the woods over here, and on these 3 little houses on the side, on the right, you will be able to find the 3 little pigs, the little red riding hoods, and the big bad wolf, and that gives you another achievement for finding all 3 of them. And then here, on the top left of your screen, you have a little beanstalk, and if you just click on it a bunch, it grows, and a little guy climbs up on it, and you get a little bit of gold for doing that. and you also get an achievement, so yeah. This level also unlocks a path to a 4th achievement, which isn't really tied to this level. You can get in a bunch of other levels as well, but this is the first level where the path to getting that achievement is introduced. And that achievement is Gloomicide. Basically, this level introduces these new flying, gloomy enemies, and their whole thing is that if you just let them be, they will replicate and reproduce really, really, really quickly. They can clone, and then their clones can clone, and then their clones can clone, and then those clones of clones of clones can also clone, and it's just a big exponential fuckery. It's just a whole lot of fuckery, okay? If you leave these guys alone, if you leave these little glooms alone for even like 15 seconds, you're gonna be dealing with a whole fucking army of like probably hundreds and hundreds of glooms. So basically, you have to kill them really quickly before they can multiply. And there's an achievement for doing exactly that, called Gloomicide, where you can get it for killing a certain amount of glooms before they get a chance to duplicate even once. The other enemies that get introduced in this level are these voids, which you gotta eradicate expeditiously. And also, when you do eradicate them, they linger around and they go to the nearest tower and lock it up and stun it for a little bit. And then outside of those voids, you also have these Bandersnatches, which are really fast, really tanky enemies that are designed to either be insta-killed, which is really convenient since in this level you're getting an insta-killing tower in the form of the golden longbows. But if you can't insta-kill them, or you don't have enough money to buy an insta-kill tower or whatever, then you can just stall them with units and they will stop rolling and they will actually, like, be forced to chill out for a little bit, and then you can, like, get in some damage while they're, you know, while they're paused, basically. Me personally, though, I just used the new hero that I unlocked called the Rexon, who has the ability to just insta-kill enemies, and I just use his ability to insta-kill the Bandersnatches, and they die, and I'm very happy, and that's kind of how I play this level. And well, because I played so smart and so epically, I actually managed to get past this level first try, and I had absolutely zero difficulties. The next level, though, gives us some difficulties, and the reason that those difficulties are given to us is partially because of the level layout in general, where this big dragon comes out the water every so often and destroys these crystals, which generate new exit points and entrance points for all the enemies, and the troubles are also partially given to us because of the new enemies the level introduces in general, like these red caps, which don't have a lot of HP but deal a shit ton of damage, and can absolutely ravage pretty much any unit you put in front of them. And the other enemy that this level introduces are the Twilight Avengers, which are big, tanky guys that also do a lot of damage, and they have really good armor. On my first attempt at beating this level, I tried using the new mage tower that the level gives us, which is the High Elven Mage, which is basically the polar opposite of the Wild Magus. Instead of shooting super fast, it shoots a bit slower, but it does a lot of damage, and it has some abilities to stall enemies instead of insta-killing them. After using the High Elven Mage during my first attempts and losing and realizing that it's absolutely the inferior mage path of the two, I decided to give the level another shot, and this time around I used the Wild Magus instead, and I managed to blow that dragon's cheeks wide open, easy peasy lemon squeezy, if you know what I'm saying. Now before I get into the next level, I just want to say this shit was not difficult, okay? The reason that I lost like a dozen fucking times on this level is because instead of looking at the enemies, I was too busy fiddling with this little gnome's butt in order to get an achievement, okay? Basically, in order to get the two achievements that are tied to this level, you have to squish a bunch of gnomes around the level, which gives you one of the achievements, but then for the second achievement, you have to play this little memory match fucking Simon Says game in the bottom left with these colorful mushrooms and this little gnome, and every time you complete a level, you get a little bit of gold, and then the next level that you start up is harder than the previous one. And you have to complete 9 levels of this little memory match Simon Says game in a row, and then you can get your second achievement as well. And me personally, I have a pretty bad memory, so while I was fiddling with this game, trying to get the achievement, failing the levels over and over again, all the enemies that were on the level itself kept leaking through, and I kept losing the level, and I kept losing my mind. But eventually I locked in, beat the minigame, got my achievements, and I was focusing on the actual level. And even though the level was relatively easy, there were still some difficulties with it, to say the least. The main difficulty were these mushroom guys, which are like the main enemies that are introduced in this level. And their whole gimmick is that they multiply like crazy, basically. But they multiply in a different way than something like the glooms, for example, do. Because the flying gloom enemies, they just simply multiply, you know. If you leave them alone for long enough, they just multiply and multiply and multiply and multiply. And that's all there is to them. But with the little boom shroom and mushroom and whatever the hell shroom enemies, with the little mushroom enemies, their whole gimmick is that there are 3 tiers of them. There are the super small ones, the medium ones, and the large ones. And let's say you encounter a large mushroom enemy. When you kill it, if you manage to kill it, it will explode and it will damage all the units around it and poison them. And it will release a bunch of medium-sized mushrooms. And then when you kill those medium-sized mushrooms, they will explode, poison your allies, kill your units, and then they will summon a ton of those little mushroom enemies. And when you kill the little mushroom enemies, they explode once again, and this time they have no children. They don't split up any further, but they still do poison your units and kill them all. Basically, long story short, they're really fucking annoying and you need a lot of splash damage in order to beat them. Which is exactly why this level gives you the second path of the artillery tower. Which yeah, it lets you say it pretty fucking easily destroy this level all by itself, pretty much. Anyways, we went into the final level of this little magic forest biome, all confidence, confidence at an all-time high, really. And we got our ass whooped within like 5 minutes of opening the level. And at that point, I was this fucking close to quitting the game, okay? I was this close to just abandoning this whole series, alright? I went back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu, but I also went back in time to complete all the Iron and Heroic challenges that I skipped over in my journey to get to this final level of the Magic Forest. And it did not go fucking well, okay? We managed to complete, I think 4 more Iron and Heroic challenges, which granted us a total of 8 stars, which is not bad, but it's also not enough. And also getting those 8 stars was an absolute fucking hellish, nightmarish ass fucking journey. It was bad, okay? It was bad. Every single level whooped us. Every single fucking level. Every single one of the 4 levels that I played to get these 8 stars absolutely whooped my ass. It was not pretty, guys. I'm just saying. Oh my god. I'm on the fucking verge of tears, man. This shit is not even funny anymore. This shit is not even entertaining anymore, gang. If y'all have watched my video where I was 100%ing the first Kingdom Rush game, you'll probably remember how at the start of the video I was like, oh my god, Kingdom Rush 1 is the hardest game in the entire series, this is fucking impossible, like half the levels are so hard, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die before I complete this game. And well, I mean, I still hold it in my heart of hearts at this point that Kingdom Rush 1 is the hardest game in the series. But this fucking game is really trying to push it, man. This game is really trying to get me to change my fucking mind, okay? It's... oh my god, dude, what the fuck? Speaking of being on the verge of tears, I stormed into Melissa's castle, and I was like... Mrs. B, don't let me get behind all that, if you know what I'm saying. And to make the long story short, despite my 8 extra fucking stars, you best believe she didn't let me get behind all that, okay? Not only did I get absolutely fucking murdered on this level multiple times, but when I finally did beat her, I lost to a fucking glitch. somehow, okay, let me try to explain to the best of my abilities what the fuck happened on this attempt that I did, okay? So basically at this point, I was multiple attempts into this level, okay? Melissa was not letting me get behind all that, okay? I just kept dying. It doesn't matter if I died to red caps, if I died to boom shrooms, if I died to fucking hoplites, if I died to cutthroats, if I died to the elves. I died to anything and everything in this level, okay? But on this one attempt, like a dozen fucking attempts in already, on this one attempt, I finally managed to beat her. And all I have to do now is kill the last fucking Twilight Avenger on the map. And once I kill him, I'll be free. I'll beat the level. And then that's gonna be the end of that, right? But instead, this Twilight Avenger gets turned into a rabbit by the gnomes. And since he's the last enemy on the level, the game thinks that he's dead and then there's no more enemies. So it ends the level and it starts the cutscene that plays at the end of the level. But here's the fucking issue. The bunny is still walking. Is still hopping happily towards my fucking exit, right? And the cutscene keeps going, and the bunny keeps hopping, and he leaks, and the cutscene ends, and I got 2 fucking stars on this level instead of 3. And at this point, guys, I realized I was not getting behind all that. Instead, she was getting behind me, and there was gonna be no consent involved in this. Make no mistake, fellas, the reason that I won the level on my very next attempt and got 3 stars is not because I was done with her, it's because she was done with me. It went so bad that on the very next level, we literally got sent to heaven. And thankfully, heaven is actually not too hard, surprisingly. I mean, I managed to beat the first level of heaven pretty easily. There were like some new Twilight Golem enemies, some new mage guys which prevented your towers from using their special abilities that you upgraded, and there were razor boars, and I think those are like the only new enemies that got introduced in this level. And they're all pretty much just tanks. I mean, the razor boars are tanks, the Twilight Golems are super tanky tanks, and the little magic guys, I suppose they have another purpose outside of tanking, but they still do have a lot of HP. But despite those enemies, we managed to beat level 1 pretty easily. Went pretty swimmingly, some might even say. And we also managed to get a little achievement for finding King Julian at the bottom of our screen. Level 2 went just as swimmingly as the previous level. We managed to beat it first try, no difficulties. But it was a very cool level, you know. It did have a lot of these little teleporters and like weird twisting and turning paths. And it was very pretty to look at, honestly. The 2 achievements that were tied to this level were the Dragons and Dragons achievement, which was tied to the little Barisad's ally that we have on this level, who is surprisingly actually a good guy in Kingdom Rush Origins. If you guys remember Kingdom Rush Frontiers, in that game, Barisad was a big, bad, evil guy, and in Origins, apparently he was a big, cool, allied fella, I suppose. And the other dragon that we have is the Hatchling Ashbite, who I mean, I honestly don't really know what he does. He's kind of trash, not gonna lie, but he's there, and he does things, and he's cute. He's moral support, okay? And the other achievement that we have in this level is for finding all 3 magic wizard-related items around the map. Outside of that, though, there isn't much to talk about this level. It was very pretty to look at, and it was very well made, but it just, you know, I didn't really have any, like, interesting losses or anything to talk about, so we got the 3 stars, and we're moving on. The next level, though, threw us right back into the Torment Nexus. It was real difficult. It was really, really fucking difficult. It was completely spider-themed, and there were a bunch of new spider enemies. Like, for example, these little guys, which are like spider minotaur looking guys. They're like half human, half spider, and they kind of look like minotaurs, you know, they're shaped like minotaurs. But anyways, the whole thing about them is that when they get into contact with one of your units, they poison that unit, and if they kill that unit, then that unit turns into yet another spider minotaur. Then there was the Arachnomancer who spawned little fodder spiders, but the problem with him is that even though his spiders are fodder, if you let him continue spawning spiders, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Because if you do not have enough stalling power, and realistically you should not have enough stalling power because of those previous Minotaur spiders that we talked about, but if you don't have enough stalling power or enough splash damage, then those spiders are just going to run straight to your defenses while your units are busy fighting other, more threatening enemies on the map. There was also just general spam of spiders that were coming out. The Twilight Golems were running wild as usual. And of course, just to sweeten the deal, just to make this level an extra pain in the ass, the level spammed a bunch of little wizard and witch enemies, which, as we discussed before, basically their whole entire job is to stun your towers and make them useless, which was just what we fucking needed, right? So the strategy in the end was to have a bunch of little mage towers near the exit to kill some tanky enemies if you can afford the insta-kill, and to also help damage the Twilight Golems and catch them if they happen to leak. Other than that, we spammed a bunch of archers for their just general purpose DPS, but also for their explosive arrows, which were quite good. Because as I mentioned before, this level loved to spam a whole lot of spiders, and well, you need splash damage to deal with that. And the archers and their explosive arrow ability just came in clutch with their splash damage. And then outside of that, we also got a couple of weird woods with their upgrades, and they provided even more splash damage that was even more clustered, and that let us beat the level. But don't be fooled, because even though the strategy that I just explained sounds super simple, we still lost like probably like 7 times or something on this level. It was pretty bad. It took us a good few tries to beat it. Anyways, that leads us straight to the final level where Melissa and the little spider that was helping her out and whatnot come together, and they find the gem that Vesnan and Lord Malagar from the previous 2 games were using to do their dastardly deeds. And it turns out that this is the origin of that gem. This place right here. And the spider and Melissa are fighting over the gem, and once we beat the level and reach stage 15, they both jump at the gem and fuse together, do a little fusion dance, and they become one. And when they become one, they're even less threatening than when they're not one. Surprisingly, actually. So yeah, I don't know if this exactly went how they thought it would go, but unfortunately for them, we managed to beat their ass even easier than if they just stayed 2 separated entities, you know. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing for them. Okay, that. Long story short, that's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, this was just fucking embarrassing. I mean, this whole final level was real easy. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, seriously, the final boss not even being difficult. I mean, that's just something else. That's kind of crazy. But I think the real reason why we beat them so easily is because of our new hero Wilbur that we were using, who, fun fact, is the best hero in the entire fucking game. Absolutely no contest. Well, there's a little bit of contest, but it's almost absolutely no contest. Wilbur is the fucking goat, and I don't want to hear anything about it, okay? We unlocked him in the previous level, we used him in this level, and surprise, surprise, he absolutely fucking steamrolled this level. But when we beat the final level, we got a little cutscene, and the cutscene revealed that Vesnan, the original villain from the original game, got his fucking all-powerful gem right here in Kingdom Rush Origins. Because maybe this is surprising to you, maybe this is not, but Vesnan from the first game actually used to be a good guy at one point. 60 years ago, when Kingdom Rush Origin was taking place, he was actually a good guy. He was on our side, but he was only pretending to be a good guy to eventually reach the gem and use it for his dastardly deeds, which if you guys have watched my first video on this whole series, then you know exactly what kind of dastardly deeds he did. But anyways, this is how he got his gem. He got it right here in this game, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. After completing the main campaign though, and doing some mining off camera, aka editing our save file to make all our heroes level 10, I knew that I was gonna have to be prepared if I wanted to take on all the mini campaigns that we just unlocked. And so because of that, I went back and I decided to do every Iron and Heroic challenge that I skipped out on up until this point in the game. And thankfully, thanks to all our new unlocked heroes, especially Wilbur and the Phoenix, we managed to complete most of the main campaign Iron and Heroic challenges with relative ease. I think the final level was like a little bit hard, but outside of that, Wilbur pretty much managed to demolish every single other Iron and Heroic challenge in the entire main campaign. I mean, he just has an answer for everything. If there's a tanky enemy, his main attack does a shitload of damage. If there is a big cluster of enemies, like on all of the Magic Forest levels where the mushrooms come out, then Wilbur can also take care of that, because he has a shit ton of explosives. If there is any flying enemies, well, he can target flying enemies, and he just really has an answer for everything. Like, literally everything. Even though he only does physical damage, he can even deal with enemies that have high physical resistance, because he does so much damage that the enemy's armors pretty much don't even matter. So after getting all the stars in the main campaign and upgrading our skill tree to its fullest, I decided to go ahead and complete the hardest mini campaign in this game. I decided to start it off strong by completing the hardest one right off the bat. And for me personally, the hardest mini campaign that I struggle on the most is the magical forest one, with all the elves and all the purple magical mystical enemies and whatnot. The first level didn't give us that much trouble. It was still a little bit difficult because of these mage enemies that got introduced, which do a lot of damage and are pretty fast and are really tanky. And the second enemy that got introduced were these like upgraded hyena looking guys, which are kind of like the hyenas from the early game, but they have a lot more HP, they move even faster, and they have just higher stats in general. And the hyenas were honestly the biggest problem in this level, because they were so damn fast that no matter how much damage you did to them, they always posed a risk of just running straight for your defense and leaking at the end of the level. They were just really hard to deal with. Even when I had all my towers maxed out and everything was in place and blah blah blah, they still got pretty freaking dang close to exiting. I'm not gonna lie. It was really tense. They did keep up the tension throughout the level, but at the end of the day, they went down, even though they went down, near the exits. And in the end, we managed to win. But while this first level was easy, the second level was not gonna have any fucking mercy on us in the slightest. This second level spammed the hell out of any and every tanky enemy in this game. Twilight Golems, they were there. Fucking Twilight Avengers, they were there. There was even a new type of Twilight Avengers, which were like the Twilight fucking Beetle Riders, which had 2 phases, so you had to kill them twice. And it was just absolute mayhem. There were so many tanky enemies. There were so many of them, dude. When I fucking close my eyes at night, all I see are Twilight Avengers and Twilight Golems. It's oh my god, it's horrible, dude. The only good part about it is that all these tanky enemies that get spammed are just giving you a shit ton of money to work with. In this level, at least, thankfully, you're not money starved. In fact, you pretty much have more money than you can ever need in your life in this level, right? I mean, you're just rich, right? I mean, the level spams so many tanky enemies that give so much gold upon death that money is pretty much never an issue in this level. But the problem is that the enemies are so strong and get spammed so much that they're gonna leak anyway, no matter what you have, no matter how many maxed out powers you have. And it is so infuriating, man. I mean, like, to put this into perspective, the fucking Twilight Avengers and the Twilight Beetle Riders, I think they genuinely get spammed by the dozens on some waves. By the fucking dozens. A dozen is 12, by the way. Just so we're on the same fucking page here, right? A dozen is 12. And there are multiple fucking dozens that get spammed each wave. It is just absolutely ridiculous. And on top of that, you have to keep track of the Twilight Golems. If you have Rexon is the only thing in the game that can insta-kill Twilight Golems, because otherwise they're immune to insta-kills. The only insta-kill that works is Rexons. And you have to keep track of them. You have to keep track of all the magic enemies that are constantly disabling your towers. There are the flying bat enemies that you have to have a lot of air defenses for. And like, holy shit, dude, it is absolute mayhem. It took a lot of time to get used to just beating the regular waves of this level, right? It took a lot of time to like developing a strategy that just gets me to the boss. That just simply gets me to the final wave. It took a long time to just develop a strategy for that. And then when you get to the boss, oh my god. It is the hardest boss in the entire fucking game. It is absolutely ridiculous. Well, maybe it's not the hardest boss in the entire game, but it's wow. Okay, it's just insane. Not only does this guy have a ridiculous amount of HP, not only does he just take a short stroll through the map, not only is he fast, not only can he insta-kill any and every fucking unit that he comes across, you know what? No. He is the hardest boss in this entire game. He absolutely 100% is, okay? It's not even a contest. He absolutely is. There's another boss that comes sort of close to him, but this guy is absolutely the hardest boss in the game because all his attacks, nearly all of them, do splash damage. And that splash damage insta-kills anything and everything that's in the radius of them. And the splash radius is fucking huge in this boss, right? So not only can he do all this, right? Not only does he move fast, not only does he not have a long distance to walk, not only does he have a ton of HP, but he heals. He fucking heals. They just had to add that cherry on top. They just had to add that cherry on top of this horrific fucking nightmarish boss. He heals. And not only does he heal like a tiddlywink little heal where he just like heals like maybe 200 HP or some random bullshit like that. No, he fucking takes his time to heal, okay? He heals thousands and thousands and thousands of HP every time he does his little thing where he curls up into a ball. I tried to use different heroes and different strategies on this map. I mean, obviously you need a lot of insta-kills for all the tanky enemies that come through, but you also need a lot of like single target damage. You need a really good hero in order to be able to beat the boss and whatnot. And I tried a couple of different heroes in this little level. I tried Wilbur obviously because he's the GOAT. I tried Rexon because I thought I could use his insta-kill ability on the boss, because even though his insta-kill ability doesn't kill bosses, it does heavy damage to them. It does like 2,000 HP every time you use it on a boss, I think, or something like that. It's pretty crazy. And then I realized that his insta-kill ability actually doesn't work on the boss. Then I tried the Phoenix, then I tried some other heroes, none of them worked. And then eventually, I heard from someone that Rexon's ability actually does work on the boss. And I went back into the level and I tried it again and it didn't work, but after a little bit of testing, and I was so mad when I found this out, by the way. I was so fucking angry. I was fucking fuming when I found this out. The ability does work on the boss, but you have to click specifically his rider. You specifically have to hit the rider that's riding the big centipede, worm, whatever the fuck it is, right? You specifically have to hit the rider for the ability to work on the boss. You can't hit the centipede body or anything like that. You specifically have to hit the rider. And that pissed me the fuck off. That pissed me the fuck off. I wasted so many attempts because I didn't think that Rexon's ability worked on the boss. And in the end, it ended up being that it does work. And so I tried my best to stall this boss. Apparently some people have a really easy time with this boss because they can cheese it, you know, they can like move units really quickly in and out of the way of the boss, and that like perma-stuns him. And I tried that, but my hands were just not fast enough. No matter what I did, it was just not fast enough. He would always pull some bullshit off to insta-kill all my units, some splash damage attack or something, and it just didn't work. And when I equipped Rexon, I got closer than I ever got to beating the boss. In one of my attempts, I used the Rexon's ability on the boss a couple of times to get a couple thousand HP off. And oh my god, I was so fucking mad. And I was so fucking mad because the boss ended up leaking while only having like fucking 2 HP or some random bullshit like that. It was like he was really, really low. Literally, if I had one more enforcement to place down, one more enforcement unit, if I had one more enforcement unit to place down, or I just microed my barracks a little bit better and just got like 1 extra second of damage in on him, or I just got 1 more extra ability, if I did anything, I could have beaten him. And I didn't. And he leaked at like 500 HP or some ridiculously low amount like that. And that just pissed me off. And that just properly pissed me off. And at this point, I didn't even want to try playing this game anymore. I mean, listen, I love Kingdom Rush. I love hard challenges. But when I'm under pressure to release 5-hour-long videos and fully edit them and fully like narrate them and everything in the span of just a couple of months, when I'm under that much pressure, I just want to give up, dude. And at this point, I really wanted to fucking give up, but I didn't. I continued playing, I continued doing my shit, I continued using Rexon, and eventually, the boss went down, and I couldn't believe it. I went through so many hard battles in this franchise. Lord Blackburn's castle. The fucking Halloween spooky nightmare mansion levels of Kingdom Rush Frontiers. The sea levels of Kingdom Rush Frontiers. And I just went through, and all the Iron and Heroic challenges of Kingdom Rush Origins. And I went through all of this. Excruciating bullshit. And I finally reached this level, and I beat it, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I fucking did it, man. I stared at that victory screen for at least 10 minutes. It had to have been at least 10 minutes that I stared at it for. I went to message all my friends. I showed them the picture of me beating the level. Holy shit, I was so happy. I was so fucking happy. And I just moved on. This shit. As you can see, I'm stuttering so much because I'm at a loss for words, just reminiscing about this moment. Holy hell. Wow. Clap it up, gang. Give me a round of applause or something, I don't fucking know, but I did it. I beat the fucking level, and not only did I beat the fucking level, but I used Wilbur to beat the Iron and Heroic challenges as well, which were extremely easy, which I'm extremely thankful for. Because honestly, I needed a little break with some easy Iron and Heroic challenges after all the shit I went through. And oh my god. Thank you, Wilbur, my goat. Thank you, Rexon, my goat. We did it. We beat the fucking mini-campaign. But let's move on, guys. Let's move on. We cannot dwell on here any longer. The next mini-campaign that I took on was the Bloody Forest mini-campaign, which is basically the same as those regular starter levels, with the gnolls and the basic enemies and whatnot, but cranked up to 11, and there's also a couple of new gimmicks introduced into the mini-campaign as well. The main gimmick that's being introduced is these little blood ogre guys, or well, I guess they're not little, they're actually quite big. But anyways, the point is, these blood ogre guys love to turn any and every gnoll that's near them into this, like, monstrous, bloody, like, tanky, super fast little hyena, right? And these guys are really, really hard to deal with. The main problem, actually, isn't even that the blood hyenas are hard to deal with or anything, because they have semi high HP, but they're not like super tanky or anything. The problem is that gnolls get spammed the hell out of in this mini campaign. And the blood ogres can turn theoretically infinite amounts of gnolls into these blood hyenas in one singular ability. Because when they clap their hands together and do their little ability to turn the gnolls into hyenas, they turn a lot of them into the blood hyenas at once. And these blood hyenas, again, even though, like I said, they aren't threatening on their own, when they're in packs, they can absolutely tickle your fucking pickle and destroy your entire defense. And the first level goes really, really hard on spamming these blood ogres and their little bloodlings, I suppose. But with enough splash damage and stalling power, the little bloodlings and blood ogres only ever get close to exiting, but they never actually do exit. So even though it was a really ass-clenching experience and I was on the verge of dying 24/7 throughout the very first level, we managed to beat it first try, so we're gonna move on. Now, while level 1 of this mini campaign was relatively hard, a little bit hard, I would say that level 2 of this mini campaign was significantly harder. And a big portion of why it was so much harder is because of the level layouts. I mean, you have like fucking 5 entrances that enemies could come out of, and then you have 3 different exits that are so far apart from each other that you all individually need to guard. Honestly though, I probably could have beaten this level a lot earlier and a lot less attempts if I just used my little thunderstorm ability a little more wisely. And the reason that I didn't use it wisely is because I was so adamant on beating this level with a level 10 Malik Hammer Fury. If you guys don't know, Malik Hammer Fury is a hero from the very first Kingdom Rush game, and this level features him as a slave working for the gnolls and these little blood ogres and whatnot. He's like mining these gems or whatever, and he comes up periodically, and you can actually free him and get an achievement if you waste a Thunder Strike on him and kill like all the enemies around him with a Thunder Strike. And if you do that, he picks up his hammer, the hammer falls up the sky, he picks it up, and he joins your forces, I guess, and he helps you fight. And he starts out at level 3, but unlike Illyria, for example, it makes an appearance earlier in this game, you can actually level up Malik Hammer Fury all the way up to level 10 in this level. And I was really adamant on freeing Malik Hammer Fury and having him on my team and getting him to level 10 before I beat the level, which is why I kept using my Thunderstorm ability really early into the level on each one of my attempts to try to free him as soon as possible so that I have time to get him to level 10. And it led to my doom plenty of times, but I honestly, I would say it was worth it. I do not regret a single thing. But outside of Malik Hammer Fury and a much harder level layout, the level was pretty much more the same as level 1. There were Ettins, there were gnolls, there were blood ogres, and of course, there were a crap ton of those little fucking blood hyena enemies. And on top of that, there is a new tank enemy got introduced in this level, which is the Ogre Magi, who is a tank that does a lot of damage, and that's pretty much it. He's pretty much the same as the Ettin enemy, except has magic resistance, and he also has a range attack instead of just a purely melee attack. But otherwise, he's pretty much the same as an Ettin. It took some struggle, a good few attempts, and a bunch of insta-kills, but eventually we managed to beat level 2. And that led us straight to the final level of the mini-campaign. And this final level was really fucking hard, dude. This final level of this mini-campaign was very similar to the final level of the previous mini-campaign that we played earlier on in the video, where I was complaining about the big centipede boss, and how getting to the final wave of the level is actually not really that difficult, and while it does take some practice, you can do it pretty consistently, you can pretty consistently get to the final wave. But then the boss is like super unpredictable and has really powerful attacks and a lot of HP and moves pretty fast and is just really hard to beat and requires pretty precise micro in order to actually kill it. Well, this level was pretty much the same as that one. You need a whole lot of insta-kills for all the tanky enemies, need a bit of splash damage for all the grouped enemies and all those blood enemies once again, because once again they get spammed throughout this level too. You need plenty of single target damage for the boss, you need stalling, you need everything. You need fucking everything, pretty much, is what I'm trying to get at here. Once you figure out a strategy though, it's pretty easy to get to the final wave, but then the boss on the final wave is a really fucking tough guy. The whole gimmick with the boss, you know, with his lore, with him leading a fucking civilization, I suppose, of like two-headed, creatures, is kind of cool, and him killing his brother by him also being a two-headed creature and cutting his other head off is also pretty cool. But everything else about him is not so cool. Because this guy can insta-kill units, has a crap ton of HP, moves fast, takes a shortcut throughout the map, and yeah, he's you need to be really precise with your ability timings if you want to beat him at all. And basically, long story short, you need to micro perfectly use all your abilities as soon as they get off cooldown. And pretty much all the timings and all the micro you have to do in this level is tighter than the little beaver that Firecracker was edging in the back of Buca de Beppo. And honestly, I tried a bunch of different strategies in this level. I tried to use a bunch of archers, I tried to use mostly insta-kills, I tried to use mostly mages, I tried to vary it up a little bit with a little bit of stall and artillery, rocks, Stonehenge towers, whatever the hell they're called, and none of it worked, pretty much. And even for my heroes, I tried using multiple different heroes. I tried using Wilbur sometimes, because he's the GOAT, of course, I gotta try him out. I tried using the Phoenix a couple of times, and the main reason that I use the Phoenix is because the boss takes this little shortcut here, and on that shortcut you can actually place the Phoenix eggs. And I thought that I was being so fucking smart with this strategy, because the thing about this little shortcut here is that no other enemy goes over it, only the boss. The only other enemies that go over it are the little bush enemies, which don't even trigger the X. So I thought that I was being so fucking smart with this strategy, because my strategy with the Phoenix was just to, throughout the level, keep placing the explosive eggs down on that little patch, that little shortcut that the boss takes, so that when he eventually steps over it, he will like detonate the fucking 1,000 eggs at once and pretty much get insta-killed, right? And that was my plan. And unfortunately, it didn't work. And I understand why it didn't work. I understand that developers probably thought of this, but the reason it didn't work is because the eggs automatically explode after a certain period of time has passed. You can only at most stack like 5 of them in a single spot. And I understand why that's a thing. I understand that the developers probably did that so you couldn't cheese any bosses or anything like that. But I was so fucking mad, dude. And I was so disappointed because I thought I was being a fucking genius with that strategy. I thought I was being so smart, but in reality I was not. But anyways, the strategy that ended up working in the end was using Rexon as always, and using his insta-kill ability on the boss so that it does like fucking 2,000 points of damage or however much, and then using the lightning strike ability on the boss as soon as it's off cooldown. And outside of that, I just got a ton of barracks in order to stall the boss out. Because even though, like I said, the boss can insta-kill all your units, the thing is that unlike the Centipede boss for the previous mini-campaign that we played, this guy, Bram the Beheader, can only insta-kill one unit at a time. He literally stands there and flicks away your units one at a time with his fingers. And it takes him a significant amount of time to flick them away, actually. It's not like a super slow insta-killing animation, but it does take him a significant amount of time to do it. So placing down a bunch of barracks does stall him out. And with good use of my abilities and my, my Thunderstorm and my Rexon insta-kill, I managed to get him down really, really low. And right before the exit, I was out of abilities and almost out of units. But thankfully, I had a plan for this exact scenario. And that plan was putting down a Weirdwood tower right here, right in this spot. Because Weirdwood is the only tower outside of the Golden Longbow that can reach far enough to deliver the killing blow to the boss. And with one well-placed nut, the boss was finally dead after 2.5 hours of attempts. And then after all of that, I accidentally clicked the reset button on the victory screen instead of the continue button. And I'm not gonna lie, my heart instantly fucking dropped because I knew that clicking the reset button after winning a level probably doesn't reset your progress and you probably still get your 3 stars and your achievement for beating the level. But I was never brave enough to test it out for myself. So I low-key shit my pants a little bit there. But I immediately exited the level just to check if I still got my fucking 3 stars in my achievements. And thank God I did. As soon as I exited the level, I saw the little blue flag pop up and the 3 stars appear above it, and I was so relieved, not gonna lie. It makes sense that the reset button doesn't actually reset your progress in the victory screen, because it would be pretty dumb if the developers just put a fucking instantly lose the level and nuke all your progress button right next to the continue button. So it makes sense that it didn't reset my progress. But considering the fact that I never tested out to see if the button did or didn't reset your progress, even when I was a kid playing these games, I was pretty fucking scared, I'm not gonna lie. But thankfully, everything's saved, my progress is still there, I still beat the level, I still got the achievements, so it's all good. After all that chaos, though, I relaxed a little bit and I let Wilbur, go on his casual, usual killing spree. Completing all the Iron and Heroic challenges of this mini-campaign. And most of them went pretty smoothly, most of them we beat in 1 or 2 tries. But on the final level of the mini-campaign, the Heroic challenge really fucking kicked me in the shins one last time. It really fucked me up just one last time as a little goodbye gift. The main problem on this level is that this level just had a wide variety of enemies. Most enemies were tanks. Well, they were either tanky or fast. There were a lot of Ogre Magais and Ettins, but there were also those like little, blood hyena, like little fucking guys that you need to stall in order to kill, because they're pretty fucking fast. So for all these tanks and for all these blood hyenas, you needed a lot of stalling power to actually stop them and be able to kill them. But the problem is that this level also spams a lot of regular hyenas, which if you'll remember from the start of the game, they're completely unaffected by the barracks, and in fact the barracks actually help them get to the exit faster, because whenever a hyena is near your units, near your troops, it just speeds up and goes even faster towards the exit, and just runs past all your defenses. And it was like a pretty contradictory level where like the enemies all needed like entirely different kinds of defenses in order to like actually fend off against them, and it was really, really hard finding an actual strategy that works. Because you both needed pretty high damage for like all those little bloodling enemies, like the little blood hyenas. You needed pretty high damage for them, and you needed pretty high damage for all the tanks as well. But you also needed an insta-kill, a pretty like consistent like actual insta-kill for all the enemies, the strong enemy tanks too. And it was pretty hard balancing it all out, because this level, this Heroic challenge, also money starved you. So you didn't have the time to get like a super consistent maxed out longbow for all the insta kills and get like really high damaging like splash damage tower like Weirdwood at the same time, right? So instead of doing that, I got a bunch of archer towers for single target damage, and I got a golden longbow that was maxed out for all the insta kills. And through a lot of micro and a lot of luck with that golden longbow for it to actually be consistent and actually kill the enemies I want, I finally ended up beating the level. But like I said, it did take a lot of trial and error and a lot of luck. Because the thing about the golden longbows is that they can either get an insta-kill after insta-kill after insta-kill and just fucking insta-kill like every single enemy on the map, or they can fire off like 30 shots and not get a single insta-kill, because their insta-kill is like based on chance. They randomly have a chance to get an insta-kill. I just said insta-kill so many times that the word almost lost its meaning, not gonna lie. But anyways, the point is, it takes a lot of luck for you to beat this level if you're using Golden Longbow, which is really like, I find the only way to beat this level, because like, the thing about the Golden Longbow is that even though it's inconsistent, you kind of have to get a lot of insta-kills off really quickly in this level. And the only other tower that can, like, do that, that can get insta-kills off, is, like, the fucking Wild Magus Tower. But the thing about the Wild Magus Tower is that it only gets, like, an insta-kill in every 20 seconds, which is not nearly quick enough for this level. So you really need to get a Golden Longbow on this level, and you really need to pray to the RNG gods that you actually get the luck that's necessary in order to insta-kill all the tanky enemies that appear in the level. Thankfully though, after all the chaos of the previous two mini-campaigns, I saved the third and easiest mini-campaign for last. And yeah, this mini-campaign, as I said, was pretty easy, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because even though I like challenges and I really love the Bram the Beheader mini-campaign and the Magic Force mini-campaign, I kind of appreciate the break from all the hecticness and all the bullshit that this campaign gives you. Because it really is just chill. I think that's the best way to describe it. It really is just a chill fucking campaign, you know? And that's actually pretty funny, because the mini-campaign is themed after, like, fucking fire and hell and burning and lava and fire and demons and shit. So, you know, going into it, you think it's really fucking difficult, but it's actually really easy. I mean, by the time that I yapped through this little introductory segment of this mini campaign, I already managed to beat the first level of it. The only hard part about this first level was that there were 3 exits that were super far apart from each other. But even with that in mind, we still had more than enough money to defend all 3 exits at the same time, and it was really no challenge. The second level of the mini-campaign was even easier though, and you might think that it was even easier because the game gave us a secondary hero to work with other than just Goat Wilbur. But the thing about the secondary hero is that he's fucking useless, dude. Like, he genuinely can't do anything on his own. He can't kill a single fucking enemy. It's embarrassing, man. But somehow, with just our one Wilbur hero and Bulwark down there doing whatever the hell he wants, we managed to beat the level, and like I said, it was pretty easy. I mean, the wave structure and all the enemies are pretty much the same as the enemies from the previous level, and the enemies in the previous level were easy, so of course these ones are easy too. The only difference is that now we had these little mini-boss enemies to deal with, which really weren't all that hard. I mean, we could just out-damage them with Wilbur and all the towers that we placed down. So even though we couldn't insta-kill them, they were still pretty easy to deal with. And then the other difference was, of course, this was a boss level, so you know, we had to fight a boss. And the boss was pretty much just a bigger, badder version of those mini-bosses that we have been dealing with throughout the level. And he really wasn't all that difficult. I'll admit, honestly, he did get pretty close to escaping while I was playing the level. But in the end, he went down, and it was really no challenge. I'm pretty sure I beat this level first try, so yeah, it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then, of course, just like in all the other mini campaigns, I let Wilbur go on his killing spree, completing the Iron Heroic challenges. And they were pretty easy too. And with that, we managed to get every single star in this game and complete every single Iron and Heroic challenge. And our map is finally complete. However, our job wasn't done quite yet, because we still had a couple of achievements to get. And most of these achievements were just like random little things that we missed, like using certain tower abilities a certain amount of times. There was an achievement, I think, that was like, ooh, put a certain amount of enemies to sleep with the Archer Tower. Which, unfortunately, I misunderstood what that achievement wanted from me, and I spent like 30 minutes trying to get the achievement by putting enemies to sleep with Cathra, the little hero, fairy hero that you get that can put enemies to sleep. I thought that her putting enemies to sleep would also count towards this achievement, but no. Instead, only the Archer Tower putting enemies to sleep counts toward this achievement. And since I didn't use the Archer ability pretty much at all throughout my run, it was a little bit of a grind to get all those enemies to go to sleep to finally earn me this achievement. And the same story pretty much goes for the silencing achievement, where you had to use the Wild Magus's silencing ability to silence a certain amount of enemies that have like special abilities that they activate. Like for example, the mages that silence your towers and stuff, or the glooms. I think you can even silence the glooms to prevent them from duplicating and all that stuff. So I had to get that achievement. Then they had to get an achievement for dealing like, I think 300,000 damage or some ridiculous amount of like that with the fucking bear rock henge upgrade of the artillery tower. And that was really, really annoying as well, because not only did I need to do 300,000 damage with this one tower, but I also needed to do all that damage with its special ability that it activates every so often. Then there was an achievement for killing a certain amount of enemies with these like little tomato vines, and the tomato vines are actually really, really weak, so pretty much the only enemy that you can kill with them are the glooms. But thankfully, the glooms multiply and duplicate like crazy, so this achievement wasn't really too hard. I just played the fucking level that the glooms were introduced in like one time, and I managed to do that. I managed to get that achievement. Then there were other achievements that were a little bit more fun, like for example the achievement that required you to get the Razorburr enemies from the heaven levels to run over and kill their own allies, right? Like you had to get them to try to run into your units, but while they're running into your units, they're also stomping over like a bunch of their own allies. And for that, I went into the first heaven level, and I had the Razorburrs just trample over like the little spider enemies. And it was a little bit hard getting this achievement because my Blade Dancers kept accidentally killing the spiders before any Razorburr showed up, so I could only like kill like 1 or 2 spiders or something like that for every attempt that I did. But eventually I made it, and I got that as well. And yeah, there were just like a bunch of those little achievements like that. They were either like Easter eggs or just using a certain ability a certain amount of times. And yeah, I just kind of grinded them out, and that was pretty much it. The only other achievements that I really want to mention that were kind of cool were the hero-related achievements. Because even though I cheated and I maxed out all my heroes to level 10 by just editing my save file and you know, putting them automatically to level up to level 10, I actually did have to manually grind out my first 3 starter heroes that I got. Because the thing about them is that they have an achievement tied to them, where if you level them up to level 10, you get an achievement for each hero that you level up. So there's an achievement for Eridan, there's an achievement for Erevan, and there's an achievement for Katha. And just leveling them up to level 10 by editing the save files doesn't give you that achievement, so I actually had to like manually properly grind them out, you know. And then the other hero achievement that was in the game was for Bulwark, where that little guy from those little hell levels that I said was really useless, that secondary hero that I kept dogging on in that hell mini campaign. Yeah, there was an achievement actually tied to him, and the achievement was basically just letting him kill a certain number of enemies in the level that he was featured in. And to do that, I just let him go wild on all the early levels where weak enemies came out and you could actually do shit. And yeah, he killed a bunch of those weaker enemies, and we got that achievement, and yeah, we finished the game. That was that. We managed to 100% Kingdom Rush Origins as well. Anyways, fellas, I got some gum in my mouth, so sorry for all the mouth noises, but I gotta rehydrate myself a little bit after all that yapping that I just did for this video. Let me take a sip of water too while I'm at it. Absolutely refreshing. But anyways, while I scroll through the achievements list to make sure that I did get all of them, and I did indeed 100% the whole game, I want to give a shout out to all of you guys that are watching and say thank you for watching the video through to the end. I have been playing all these Kingdom Rush games back to back to back for like 12 hours a day every single day in order to get all the footage that I need to make all of these 5 videos that I'm making of me 100% completing every single Kingdom Rush game. And I'm gonna be honest, it has taken quite a toll on me. Playing video games for 12 hours a day for like a month and a half straight, and then having to spend like another 4 to 8 hours a day every single day editing the videos of the games that you already played is pretty hard, honestly, but I'm more than happy to do it for my favorite video game series. But it is quite a freaking challenge, man. I think I had like 4 months total to edit all these videos and put them together or something like that. And getting the footage alone took like 200 hours, I think. But then editing the videos took like 12 hours per game. Or no, not 12 hours, probably like more like 10 hours. 10 hours per game to just narrate over all the games, which is like another 50 hours to that total. And then the editing took like another 10 hours per game in order to do. And it just all added up. And in the end, I spent like 300 hours or so, maybe even more, creating all these videos of me 100% completing each Kingdom Rush game. And 300 hours of work in 4 months is quite a lot, I'm not gonna lie. And that was on top of the work that I already had to do outside of the game. You know, I actually have like a part-time job and stuff, so it was hard. It was real difficult, I'm not gonna lie. But thank you guys for sticking around. I want to give you a huge shout out. Even if you didn't make it to the end of the video, you still helped me out a lot by just watching even like 10 minutes of this video, right? So yeah, I want to thank you all once again. Your support means a lot in these trying times. But yeah, long story short, whether or not you stuck around until the end of the video, I want to thank you so much for just watching it at all, for just clicking on the video. It really does mean a lot to me, and I'm so glad that I'm finally starting to have some kind of a fan base on YouTube. It might not be the biggest fan base ever. I only get like a couple of comments per video, but I still love chatting with all you guys. I still love hanging out with all you guys, and I'm super appreciative of all you guys watching my videos. But with all that being said, fellas, this video is over. We 100% completed Kingdom Rush Origins, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the 100% completion of Kingdom Rush Vengeance.